Hey there, good morning everybody. Good morning everybody. So this morning people are coming on. Well, I guess I'll take a sip of coffee while I'm waiting for everybody to get on. Okay, so this morning's topic is really about us getting stuck. And the thing that we get stuck in is, hey, good morning, Addison and Steve. The thing that we get stuck in a lot that we don't even realize that we're stuck in, or we look at it from a different perspective than what it really is. So we're not calling it by name. And that one thing that gets us stuck a lot is pride. It is pride. And you might go, oh, I'm not that prideful of a person. I catch where I'm, where I mess up. I know what my faults are. I know this, I know that. And there's extroverted pride and there's introverted pride. And what do I mean by extroverted and introverted pride? So extroverted pride is what we typically think of as pride. It's that prideful person that is a very, walks tall and is like, oh no, I got this and I'm that, and is so, really patting themselves on the back all the time. So that is that extroverted pride. And then you have the introverted pride, which is the person that actually operates in the complete reverse of the extroverted. Good morning, Patrick. And that introverted pride is the person who will basically not even, it might appear as this person is, coming across in kind of like a victim mode, or they might even appear to be humble in different ways, self-sacrificing, the doormat personality, right? Very much into people pleasing and all this different stuff. And that just means that that they're very much on the line of, oh no, I don't want you to do that for me. That's okay. Or saying, well, it's just, I see that I've this, I've got that going on. This is where I have this illness. I have this issue that happened in my life. I have blah, 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 blah. And they run into that. And this introverted pride really sabotages us. It really sticks us because we don't see it as pride. But if you go into different teachings out there, religious study, there is talk about extroverted and introverted pride, and to really examine the difference. So that's what today is all on, is looking at our pride from both sides and seeing how it really gets us stuck. It really does. It gets us stuck. So our inability to ask for help, often our inability to say what we need, or the reverse of it being, oh no, I'm this, I'm that, or even, pridefully putting yourself out there and making it where, like, no, I'm good at asking for what I want. I'm good at this, I'm good at that. That's that extroverted pride, right? This might seem like I'm saying, just, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't type thing. And here's the thing with pride. Much like anything else, it's not in the words that we're using. Energy is not about necessarily the words that we use. It is about the energy, the consciousness is what I mean by energy. There is the consciousness behind each word that we use. So what is your state of consciousness when you are saying anything? I mean, that's the true power play, the true mind game, as you could say, is all about our consciousness. And when it comes to pride, if we say something to somebody and it might appear like it is a prideful statement, and here's one of the things that it's interesting, because if you walk into my office, on at least the first few sessions, I will try to rattle your cage a little bit by having you tell me something that you are really, really appreciative of, something that you're in gratitude for. I will ask you for your gratitude. I will ask you to brag about yourself. And I use that word brag. I'm like, tell me a shameless brag. Tell me a gratitude. Tell me something that you desire. And typically people are like, whoa, did you just say brag? You want me to give you a shameless brag? And I tell people, yeah, I want you to tell me something that you probably wouldn't post, on your Facebook status. Tell me something that is just like, oh my God, you're not going to believe this, but this is what happened. It's amazing. This is what I did. This is what, blah, 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 blah. And people have really, really struggle with that because it feels very prideful to sit there with somebody and brag about themselves. I mean, that's like, whew, you got to breathe that in. We're told throughout our life to not think too highly of ourselves. Oh, you think a lot of yourself, don't you? Blah, 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 blah. And it's this undertone of, why are you thinking so highly of yourself? Why are you doing this? Don't brag about yourself. Don't think too highly. Bring yourself down to reality and talk reality about yourself. The danger in that is, yes, we don't want the bragging from the prideful side where you're out there and you're almost cocky about it. And the energy is, I am better than so-and-so. Okay, because that's separation. So that's not good. The consciousness is separation. It is labeling. It is stacking people in different departments. And that's the negativity of it. But just to say, no, I'm really good at this, or yeah, no, I did this, or I did that. That sharing, if you have the consciousness behind it, that you are stating it to share. And for anybody who listened to yesterday's, I talked a little bit about sharing. Sharing is the act of giving without the expectation of receiving anything back. It is unconditional, okay? That's what true sharing is. It is a state of unconditional sharing and loving and connecting with somebody. So you can give to somebody and you don't have any expectation of it coming back, of anything positive coming back or negative. It just is a gift. And when we share in this bragging form, we're sharing to help, to connect, to help somebody push through something. We're not in a state of, I'm sharing to make myself look better than you. Okay, so really be conscious of that. The introverted pride, when you're dealing with that one's a heck of a lot harder to catch, because we all do it. We all do it in so many different ways. And we do it through these statements, through duty. We do it through duty. We constantly do it through duty. I need to do this. I have to do this. Blah, 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 blah. This person's dependent on me. That person's dependent on me. And this whole thing is that underlying current of consciousness. What is it in each one of those statements? You're doing it to get back. You're doing it to control, because anytime we're looking at, and here's the truth of it, is that when I say, what's your consciousness? Are you doing it to get something back in some way, or to put yourself above somebody else, which causes this separation to happen? And that right there is that you are basically trying to control the situation from what your actions are. So whether you are extroverted in your pride or introverted in your pride, this is the same thing is happening. You are trying to control the outcome. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. You're trying to control the outcome. So to be really, really aware as to that little fact right there, and try to catch yourself doing this, because as you're doing that, neither side is right. You're not going to let go of the outcome and just to remain present in the moment, enjoy it, and do what is needed in this moment. Because you can love the people in your life, you can love the situation, you can be connected to God and everybody around you and feel complete right now in this moment, if you so choose, without the need to try to control the outcome of anything. So just showing up as yourself, which is actually really, really beautiful and very, very full and very, beautiful light. You can do that without trying to control. Because when you start to try to control, you can kind of think of it like, while you're controlling the outcome, what you're actually saying is, I always talk about putting handcuffs on God. That's what you're trying to do. When you're trying to control the outcome and you're doing certain things, whether it is with extroverted pride or introverted pride, either or, you are basically locking God up and not letting the situation form the way it is best for your highest and greatest good and for all involved, versus what you're trying to go, no, I want that to happen. So if I do this, and I look all, meek and modest and sweet over here, and like I've been really doing everything that I should be doing, you notice, like, here's the introverted pride. The introverted pride, it has the should pop up all the time. It's a control mechanism. So really, really be aware of that, because anytime you're doing that, what you're doing is you are causing yourself to get stuck or remain stuck in a position that is not best for yourself. So if you feel like, oh my goodness, I'm really, really stuck in life, and if you're like, I'm not a prideful person, I'm not blah, 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 check on your introverted pride. Where are you doing things in an introverted way around, like, what is the flip side of what you consider pride, and how are you guilty of doing those things? Because a lot of that can come down to getting you stuck in your life, in situations, and to really just be aware of that. I have a coffee. So I'm reading this book called The Prodigal God, and it's by Timothy Keller, if anybody is interested. It's The Prodigal God by Timothy Keller, and it is the breakdown of the story of the prodigal son. And it is an amazing little quick read, awesome little book. And it is, everything that I was just sharing there, and I could have been probably a little bit more clear. The problem with doing 6 a.m. conscious coffee is that you're not fully awake. I'm not fully awake, at least. But as I was reading through this last night, and I read like half the book last night before I crashed and burned, but he really tells the story of the prodigal son in this new light, which I don't think that the majority of us catches. And I do encourage people to get this book, because it is such a powerful little read. It is just one of those that really gets you focused on what Jesus's parable is really about. And the parable is on exactly what I'm talking about here. The story isn't really even about the son who goes away and is lost and comes back. It's about both sons, and it is also about the father, and it is, about the fact that there are these two paths. That you've got the prodigal son, the son who goes away, who lives this, crazy life and disrespects his father up front and goes and blows the money and does all this different stuff. And then you got the other son who stays with, with the father, works his ass off, and is doing everything that he feels is right and by the book. And then you have the father who just loves through all of that. So no matter what, he just keeps coming back with this unconditional, beautiful love, which was completely unheard of in society back then, right? The father is acting so out of character. No father back then would have done this. And then all of a sudden Jesus ends the tale, and he never tells you what happens to the older son. So you don't even know what happens to the older son. And the whole thing there is that neither path is correct, because both paths are trying to control a situation. And much like what I'm talking about here with, controlling the situation through introverted pride or extroverted pride, that parable is also speaking about how we are trying to control the outcome, the hands of God, instead of just leaning in and loving and embracing the moment and everything that we have right here, right now. And to do things out of the state of loving, to love God, thus love ourselves, thus love everybody else. So the state of that we want to do what is please, the statement of to please God, right? Do it to please God. Well, what we can is a whole nother topic, but if you get into that state, the truth of that is that to please God means to act out of love and to do things in the act of sharing, like I was talking about, not the act of I do this for you, you do this for me. This is the expectation. Everybody lives up to the expectation, or to completely rebel and try to control the situation through rebellion, because either path is not as the healthiest path that you could choose for the greatest good. And when we look at our pride, which is a great big piece of these two paths, you have the person, like the good person with all the shoulds. That's the son in the story who stays home and does everything that he possibly can do and should do according to the book. And there's that pride there that even in the parable, he's like, I have done everything that you have asked for. I've done everything that I'm supposed to do. And you give everything to my brother who, rebelled and did all this stuff. That's not, to the point that the older son is just like, no, I'm not going to join the party. Completely disrespects his father. At the end of the parable, he completely disrespects his father because of his own pride. He's standing there in his pride of, I've done this. Now that's very solid. If we looked at that situation in today's terms, and when you looked at that, you'd be like, no, you have every right to be pissed off. You have every da-da-da. We would support that older brother, and we would actually be supporting his pride, because we would not see it as pride, or we would think that it was positive pride, because he's like, no, you're standing in exactly what you should be. You have done all of this. You should be, prideful of what you've done. You've done everything that was asked of you. You've done all this different stuff. Do you notice the duty coming through there? He's not doing it because he loves the father. He's not doing it because of his love for the land, his love for keeping everything in order, his love for his family, nothing. He's not doing it for that. He is doing it because he should, because he has a duty, because he wants his outcome. He wants his 2/3 of the property of the family wealth. That's all he's wanting there, is his 2/3 of that, because he's the oldest son, so he gets 2/3 of all the property. So his only attachment to the situation, and the reason why he's so pissed off and stuck in this, is not because he so much loves any of this. It's because he's working, because it's his duty according to society, according to everybody around him. He needs to go do these things so that he can achieve this goal, and all he's interested in is making sure that he gets this goal. And that pride is just blocking him from all this beautiful blessing at the end of that tale. So really, really look at, because here's the thing, we understand the outward pride, we understand the rebellion. We've all had those moments where we rebel. We might know, big time rebels and everything like that. And we see different things that happen with people who go out there and just completely break all the rules. And we can really, really catch that kind of pride and issue. But what we have a little bit more difficult time is with this scenario here of the person who is doing everything that they should, who doesn't even run around going, oh no, I've done this, I've done that. They're just hard workers. They're steadfast. They're true. You can always depend on them. You can always do this. Da, 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 da. They're really good people. Okay. I'm not saying that they're not good people. I'm not saying if this is you. I'm not saying you're not a good person. What I'm saying is that you have to question why, what your intent consciousness is behind doing the things that you're doing. Look at it. Is it a duty to you? Because one of the biggest blockages that we have that really, really sticks us in our life is this concept of that we should and that we need to do things because that is our duty. That is what is expected of us. And if you are doing anything because it is expected of you, then you're not doing it with the right consciousness. If you are doing it out of the state of love and that you want to do it and that it is going to better your life and the people around you's life, and it is pleasing to you. And I'm not talking about going out there and getting drunk. I'm talking about like serious, really good stuff. Like, you know, like I want to start this business because it makes me feel really good. It gets me turned on. I feel completely aligned to it. I feel so ignited, and look at all the good that I can do from this. I feel good about the fact that I can go and I can help all these people here by doing this. Now, I'm going to start this business because I really need to make this much money and blah, 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 and this is a guaranteed path and everything like that. Now, granted, we do have these responsibilities in our life that we have to take care of, and there are different things that are duties, but what I'm saying is that try to bring more of, even if it is a duty, how can you really tap into it and embrace it with a state of love and bring a consciousness into it of, I'm not just doing this to get this desired outcome. I'm doing this because it is pleasing. It is pleasing to me. It is pleasing to my family. It is pleasing to God. It is pleasing. Not it's going to meet my paycheck, and you know the just that feeling that you get when you're just out there. And this is the whole Monday morning mentality, right? Like, oh God, it's Monday morning again, save me, you know, or thank God it's Friday. Woo, thank God it's Friday. Or we can be saying today, woo, it's hump day, halfway through the week. That mentality is that's the big brother mentality there. That's the mentality of, I'm doing this because it is expected of me and because I need to have this desired outcome. I am trying to control the situation versus leaning in and allowing yourself to embrace the moment and fully be present in the moment and fully enjoy the moment and connect and ask yourself, am I in alignment to myself, to God in this moment? Is this really, truly the desired path? That's the question you need to be asking yourself on much of anything, because it's the consciousness behind. If you are just doing something for a desired outcome, you will find yourself stuck. And maybe you won't be financially stuck. Maybe you'll just be really emotionally stuck negatively. You know, like maybe you're just always sad. You're just low on energy. You're not feeling good. Maybe there's a complete and total disconnect in relationships. Maybe you get stuck in a negative health pattern. Or maybe you're financially stuck. Or maybe you're some combination of those. Being stuck means that you are trying to control the situation. Plain and simple. That is what stuck is that somewhere in you is this need to control, and you are trying to control the situation, and the only thing that is going to allow you to break through is to, and unstick yourself, is to let go of that control, let go of that need to try to achieve a certain outcome, and instead just get into alignment to the path that you need to be on, following in that flow, doing things that, and to be, yes, I might sound very religious here, oh well, get over it, to please God. So it's, you know, it really is about, because here's the thing, we are all sparks of God. So really tap into that aspect right there, like tap into that spark inside yourself and really lean in and start to ask yourself, is this pleasing? is this pleasing? Why am I doing it? And the easiest way to catch yourself here is if you find out that you're doing it to control the outcome, then chances are it's not in alignment to your greatest and highest good. Chances are. And it doesn't mean that you have to make drastic changes. That's not what I'm saying either. It doesn't mean quit the job, dump the relationship, do this, do that. That's not what I'm saying. Remember, the biggest changes happen within us, okay? So it's a state of consciousness. That's all it is. It's just a consciousness decision to switch from the need to control to tapping in and going, I'm doing this because this feels good right now, because this is in alignment to who I am right now, because I really enjoy this. I really enjoy that. Take your focus off of the negative, put it onto the positive, see how whatever the situation is, how it feels to you now. Give it some time, because it's not just going to happen. It will happen like this, but it won't happen like that. Notice that if you start focusing in on the positive around the situation, how that feels sensation-wise in your body, emotionally in your body, and start to really notice that right there, and then feed more of the good to that. And when you're focusing in on how that is making you feel inside, then you're going to slowly get yourself more into alignment with what God's desire is there too, okay? And that will help you decide, really get a little bit clearer picture, I guess I could say that. Get a clearer picture on what you need to do. And then consistently stay on top of the pride, introverted or extroverted, on that pride, and notice in every little situation, ask yourself, am I trying to control the outcome? Am I trying to control the outcome? Why am I doing this? Oh, I said that I need to do this. Why am I doing it? And if you run down that path just a little bit and you find out, oh, I'm just trying to control the situation here, come back to, do I really need to do this? Or how do I need to step into the situation? What is the thoughts that I need to go into the situation with so that I'm not trying to control the outcome? Am I good with any outcome to the situation? How does the outcome that I'm not leaning towards make me feel? Get good with any potential outcome. That's the gist of it. You gotta get good with any potential outcome, or start saying no to things, because controlling the outcome, you can't do. It'll stick you right in the nasty quicksand every single time. And you're going to be really, really disappointed, because it's expectations that you're holding, whether they are conscious or unconscious. It's big time expectations, and that is going to set you up for a nasty, nasty line of failure. So there you have it. Introverted and extroverted pride. I do strongly suggest getting The Prodigal God by Timothy Keller and exploring that book, because he really breaks into the parable there very, very well and gets you to think about so many different things. But exploring your pride today is what I encourage you to do. Look at different situations. Look as you go out there and explore different stuff as to where you're trying to control and where you're not trying to control. Okay? So I love you guys. As always, if anything in here touched you, made you go, oh, I do that, or yeah, or whatever, please take the time just to push the little share button, make a comment, and yeah, and let me see. Oh, I got other announcements, but I'll do that later in the day when I'm more awake. So I love you guys. I will catch you tomorrow at 6 a.m. here for Conscious Coffee.